welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, everyone. First, let me make it the purpose I came here because I have 2 comments and 1 question. But I want to thank all of our elected officials to hold this hearing, my great panelists. Mr. Easton and Jeff, thank you so much for being here. Because you talked about the CVE and PVE grant, I'm the author of the 3rd grant with the California Governor's Office through Class Road. You're going to meet my colleague next week. Want to thank also, of course, Professor Levin, my very dear friend, who's very passionate not only about fighting hate, but also protected speech. And he was, I think, beaten up in Riverside by somebody because he wanted to make sure that he defends those hateful people who had the right to speak up. And of course, Brian Levin, our dear friend and also associate director. And I just want to tell you 2 more things. The shooting of San Bernardino, the person who shot was my student. Another one of my students was called in by the FBI because he had disappeared, went to Pakistan to join a hate group. So I know it firsthand. With this, I want to just ask 1 question and make 2 comments. The first comment is, I am going to just leave before 6 o'clock because I have 230 students taking a class called World of Islam. The past many years, I've asked the students to interview Muslims to see if they have faced hate crimes or hate speech in their lives. A class of 230 taught many times a year. I have over 4,000 students sampling 4,000 Muslims who were interviewed. And the sad part of it is over 98% of Muslims reported hate speech against them that they never reported to you, Mr. Sheriff. So thank you, so thank you for coming here. And so the question to you, before I make my last comment, is, do you want me to report to you 900 or maybe 4,000 names of people who are on a daily basis or weekly basis experiencing hate speech? What do we do with these things? As researchers, we don't know what to do with that. It is an overwhelming reality that the Muslims are facing, but I know also Jews and other minorities are expecting. The other thing is, and I don't want to make it political here today, but one of our most senior executives on this campus knows that we had an immersion program that, Jeff, you've talked about. It was the largest immersion program in Western United States, the best funded, and had brought over $8 million in grants to support the same people that we're talking through the immersion program to get them off the street. And that was canceled. And it is in the hands of our senior officials in this room. And now to the question to you, sir. And I hope that our senior officials in this room will bring it back because they know exactly what it takes to bring it back. We were saving thousands of people and making the difference in people's lives. And we brought them all together of all religions or ethnicities and made them understand how important it is to be good. So the question to you, sir, what do we do when we have thousands of people reporting hate speech and hate crimes against them? What do you want us to do as instructors? First-hand account with these students. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment and thank you for your question. I would say this. If somebody feels that when it comes to a hate speech, you cannot fight hate with hate. Responding in a negative way is never the answer. Jeff made it a very point. You have to respond, and as crazy as this may sound, you have to respond with love. Try to befriend, try to understand, and try to have compassion. I would say for the individuals who are victims of hate crimes, you have to report those crimes. There's no way that we can even combat those. In our community, we are daily facing individuals who are really the voiceless because they're afraid of certain political issues. Individuals in the Hispanic or Latino community, we're finding are afraid to come forward because they are afraid of the repercussions of deportation or being identified. We're afraid, the individuals who, and this goes for the Muslim community also, individuals are afraid because they don't want to be targeted. Our job in law enforcement is to help and assist everyone, including the voiceless. It is not our job to pick on one side of the aisle, Republican or Democrat. Our job is to provide safety for everyone in the communities that we live. So I would say encourage them to report the crime. Come forward, and if they're unsure, report it anyways. and then we can figure it out.
Well, let me add another suggestion, because when something is as prevalent as you describe, and I have no doubt that it is, a survey is a good way of trying to assess and then show the extent to which an issue exists in a community, whether it's a college community or a city or a neighborhood. And so we may want to look at developing a way to receive that kind of information and categorizing it in a way that is separate and apart from the criminal justice system.
Just some good news real quick. Our latest study showed that, thank God, last year, anti-Muslim crimes finally went down. And CARE found that too. Don't clap though, because you know what? 2017, even as we had a decline off of the second highest, anti-assaults against Muslims still was higher than after the 9/11 period, and anti-Arab crimes, unfortunately, we've seen some increase in 2017. So it's a mixed picture, but hopefully when the FBI comes out with their figure, it will confirm CARE's data and our data showing a decline in anti-Muslim hate crime in 2018.
And of course, it's always good to see a number come down, but what we're looking for are long-term trend lines where it continuously goes down and doesn't bounce around a high number.